I would like to present in the current speech a number of silver vessels from the pre-Mongol period, mainly 11th to early 13th century, from Central Asia, and it's a group of different vessels of completely different provenance. Few of these vessels exist in the Hermitage collection. However, the overwhelming majority are found in the private collections in European, American, and Russian collections. They were never been published. It's the first time I would like to present it for the public. There is something common about all these vessels. They all influenced by the old Sogdian tradition of silver work from Maveranahar. However, I believe that most of these vessels, they were produced, in fact, in Khwarezmian Empire. This theory was suggested originally by Marshak in one of his latest articles. He was a curator of Hermitage, an expert of Sogdian and Khwarezmian metalwork. But this idea was not accepted in the Western scholarship. The main reason is that in the early group of material which was very well known, it's so-called Hariri hoard. I will show you in a second. All this hoard, it's a very, very important hoard of pre-Mongol silver, probably of Seljuk origin, coming most likely from Iran. All this group was identified as Seljuk. And all these collection currently kept in Jerusalem in the Museum of Islamic Art on display, and the forms and the techniques used to create this material, it's very peculiar and is indeed related to the Seljuk metalwork. However, we can see in the private collection a similar shaped bottle with the image of Simurg and interesting scrolls and plants motifs, which is different from Seljuk group, in my opinion, and is probably created somewhere in the territory of Maveranahar, either Bukhara or Samarkand. This is the other side of the same bottle with the birds interrelated. And then we coming to another bottle, which is currently kept in the Hermitage collection. It was purchased in 2002 by the Hermitage, and it's a chance find from Western Siberia area, Northern Urals. This bottle has a very interesting inscription, dedication, which was very common for the Islamic silver and bronze as well in the pre-Mongol period. But the type of this inscription, the actual paleographic characteristic of this inscription, it's very similar to the tray which was found in there as well in the Hermitage collection, and is originated from the same area. This tray was dedicated to Khwarezm Shah, who ruled Khwarezm in 30s of 11th century. You can see the same imagery of the birds, which were very popular in later Sogdian art, and probably the reason for this is because Sogdian silversmiths, they went to live to Khwarezm after the conquest of Samarkand and Bukhara by the Karakhanids at the end of 10th century, while the Khwarezm Shahs, they created independent state that was in a way submitted for the main part of 11th century to the Seljuks, but was still an independent and magnificent state. In the late 12th century and the early 13th century, the Khwarezm Shahs, they managed to control almost all the Central Asia, and they went as far as eastern Iran and even parts of Mesopotamia. And they created a huge and magnificent Khwarezmian empire, which was only conquered by Chinggis Khan in 1220. This is another tray, again from the museum collection, with the same type of inscription. And another tray, which is in the private collection at the moment, slightly different type of inscription, but again, this inscription dedicated to another Khwarezm Shah of the later period, of the late 12th century. And it's very important objects indeed. This is slightly different object of silver work. It's a cup, traditional cup with the same birds again, and different type of inscription, but the birds shown on this cup is practically identical to the tray of Khwarezm Shah. And another cup, again in the private collection, with a very similar blessing written in Kufic on the top of the cup with yellow and very nice and elaborate handle. That's a plate which is stylistically related to the previous cup, again with the same type of birds, with yellow L gilding as well, and the inscription, the way it's presented, it's again quite similar to the Khwarezmian tray. The chain is later, of course. And another plate, this time with a similar inscription, and the figure of half human, half bird in the medallion in the center of the plate with a very nice spoon. And another plate, again, you can see in the central medallion, same image of the figure half human, half bird with extensive niello. This is the back with inscription. And here is another plate from the Hermitage that can be compared to the other plates with the banqueteer. It's identified as Khwarezmian by Marshak, Khwarezmian 12th century, with the same small birds in the medallions. This image derives from the early Sogdian art of the Samanid period. You can see on the current plate image of half human, half bird with the early Kufic inscription, paleographically dated to the 10th century. But this image is more significant, and obviously this piece has no Niello work. Niello work can only be found in the Central Asian silver work from 11th and 12th century period, and it's a clear sign of the Turkic influence. Here is one of these examples. Again, we can, it's a Pixies box with a lid, which shows a lot of different animals and birds in the nicely shaped small medallions, but each animal is different, which is pretty amazing. It's a cover of the piece, and here is another piece which came from a private collection, and it was purchased recently by David Collection of David Museum in Copenhagen. It's a jar with the birds and animals running one after another, and medallions with the birds. And here eagles, they actually attacking hare. And the lid, which shows a yellow work similar to the other Khwarezmian pieces. And here is the other images of the same piece. And shape of this piece without the lid, of course, it's very close to the Hermitage examples, again with the image of half human, half bird, and animals running the same way as they do on the David Collection cup. This piece was, the first piece was actually found in 1775 in the Tobolskaya and moved to the Hermitage. This is another piece, again from the Hermitage. And here is another cup in the private collection. It was published by the Sarahani collection in London. And it's a very interesting cup with the same type of medallions, with a beautiful figure of wolf or fox, and very interesting figure of the horseman, probably unique. It looks like, according to the dress, it looks like Khwarezmian horseman of the late 12th, early 13th century from the pre-Mongol period. And again, same type of Kufic inscription. A different angle with the birds. And here is another piece from private collection, a cup. What is interesting that in here the medallions are shown in a very Sogdian way. The shape of the medallion is indeed Sogdian, same type of same subject, eagle attacking animal, but the medallions have a very particular pearl ornament, which was specific for the Sogdian silverwork and even silks, dated from 8th to 9th century, which was spread all over the Silk Road. The Niyelo work, the ornaments as well as Kufic writings, they dated towards second part of the 11th century. But again, the monkey shown on the upper part of the handle, it's again very much Sogdian look-like. And here is another angle of the same piece. And different medallions, all showing eagles attacking peaceful creatures. And that's where this imagery came from, probably. This is a famous Sogdian ball in the Hermitage with eagle chasing deer. This is another and probably the most magnificent piece of Islamic art found in the private collection. It's a large pen box, almost 40 centimeter, with the it's usually all the pen boxes known, they all made in bronze with silver and lace, and they were created in the Khorasan area. Here, it could also be coming from the Khorasan as other pieces, but what is the main reason for this is because it was dedicated to the granddaughter of Mahmud from Ghazna, the great Ghaznavid king, who called Hanum in this inscription, which goes all the way around the box. But and it shows a very interesting figures of the Turkic of the girls with the Turkic dress who dance and sing for the king. But saying this, here we found a very particular imagery inside the box. It's image of Senmurf, a fantastic bird which was very common in the Sogdian art from 9th to 10th century. So this bird actually might show that the piece was created by the master who works in the later Sogdian tradition in the Islamic period. And this later inscription allows to date it in, towards end of 11th century. This is again a site of the same pen box with the same type of dancing woman figure, and all the women dancing and singing, as do usually men on the Sogdian metalwork of the 8th and 9th century. But obviously here we see the woman in a later Turkic dresses and with the same way you would expect to see them on the Uyghurs and Western Chinese wall painting on the in the murals of the Silk Road sites. But these particular examples, so obviously were known to the master who created this magnificent piece, but the small details, for example, small birds, small animals showing in between these figures, they again look like Khwarezmian objects of silver from 11th and 12th century. And this is why it's become very likely that this piece was created in Khwarezm as a present to the granddaughter of the great Ghaznavid king. Therefore, in my opinion, most of the pre-Mongol silver from that period can actually be related to the cultural tradition of the Khwarezmian Empire, which was one of the most magnificent and great empires of the pre-Mongol period in the world. And these objects need to be studied in this context. Thank you.